Good afternoon, this is Pat Walker, Mission Winners, doing a video overview for everybody of the ETFs. Why do we look at the ETFs? So that we can see themes, we can see strength, areas to key in on, but also weakness, areas to avoid. Here's another very important lesson for everybody. You can say, oh, this looks pretty good here on the weekly. This is the weekly chart on the left and daily on the right. You get the ticker symbol right there. First FV, you can see that right there. And what do you see? You say, well, that's acting pretty good. You can click on FV on Google and ask for the top 10 holdings. Guess what they are? Heavy in technology. What have we been involved with? Well, it's been leading for a while on the weekly too. We're heavy and have been heavy in technology. It's told us to. We don't have to forecast. It's a little sloppier up here, okay? Needs to get through these tops. The best thing this could do is to base a little bit and then take off again. But technology is leading. Let's go on here. Gold miners, this is a great lesson right here, folks. I'm going to back up. Oh, that's got some power. It's trending up. No, this doesn't have any power. Gold miners. In 1 second, it tells us stay away from gold miners. That's simple. Don't overthink. Oh, maybe this is the bottom. Why play the maybe game? Okay? The trend is down, leave it alone. Gold, same situation. Not a lot of power. Be careful with gold. Now, biotechnology. Let me clear this off here real quick. I'm sorry. Biotechnology doesn't look too bad. And here's the perfect example of why I look at both weeklies and dailies. You look at the daily and you go, well, it's kind of lifting up. But then you look at the weekly, and I'll draw a line for you here, folks. And that's close enough right there. Watch this. We'll shrink it. What do you have here? You've got yourself a big cup and a handle. What does it need to do? Push through these tops with volume. Something to take a look at. IBB, which is biotechnology. Last point I'll make, always be careful with biotechnology stocks. All right? Always. Let's continue onwards. Here we go. Weekly, daily, IEO, oil and gas. Picking up a little bit on the daily, but not much power on the weekly. Be careful with that. Let me get rid of this. My apologies. Let's continue onwards. Software technology, this got hit pretty hard, okay? And you know what they own. You can tell by looking at the chart. What are they involved with? AI, okay? Artificial intelligence. Yeah, we've got a slew of that NVDA, okay? That's been a run, and you'll see that on the other video. But it's dropping down here a little bit. It's kind of loose and choppy right now. Just be a little cautious with it, okay? When you get gaps, gap down. Be a little careful with it. Medicine doesn't look too bad, trending up here. Simply decent base here on the weekly, but here's the one risk. It's V-shaped. V-shaped bottoms are riskier than nice rounded bottoms, okay? Just a nice curve on the bottom here. This doesn't have it. This is more V-shaped, so be a little cautious with it, okay? Just clarify that. IJH, I'm just going to look at the daily. This hasn't updated. I'm going to have to look into this one, okay, and see what I can find. I can't give you any, it looks decent here, but we've missed a couple of days here. I'll have to see what's going on with that. IJH, so I can't give you a valid observation on that. Now, aerospace and defense, this is a big cup right here, and it's forming a handle. Here's the weekly. You can see a great big cup. What's the best thing it could do? Base a little bit longer and form a handle. Cups without handles have higher failure rates. That's research from Bill O'Neill and company, and I've seen it through the years too, and I bet you have too. So there we go. Started to lift up here a little bit on Friday, but not a lot of volume, so be cautious with it. Continue onwards. U.S. home construction starting to pick up, strengthening a little bit. ITB, something to watch. It also tells us something else. Maybe look into some home building stocks too, right? If the ETF is doing good, well, that means the stocks that it owns, the home building stocks, may be going and doing better too. So you look into them. Let's menu on here. I'm going to clean out this bottom bar here a bit. Edit low just so we can see this better. And you can see this is grounding up nicely here. S&P 500 growth. Look, yeah, are we heavy in big name S&P 500 growth? Yeah, and it's been telling you. It's been telling you to get involved with it. Okay, there you go. Now, I'm not saying buy it up here. It's a little bit extended, but it's been a pretty darn good trend on the weekly and on the daily. There we go. Continue onwards. Guided us towards it. IWM, this is forming a big cup with a handle right here, but it needs to take out these tops. All right, until it does, be cautious with that. IWM. But it's something to look into as far as small cap stocks are concerned. Real estate, there's no power. I mean, look at the weekly, look at the daily. It's below the 50-day. There's no power there. Just move on. Done. Isn't that correct? By the way, I'm not doing it to be cute. I'm just pointing out, why overthink it? If it ain't there, it ain't there. That simple. Transportation's been acting decent here. Look at this cup and a handle right here, and it's lifted off. Picking up here a little bit. Trade's a little thin. Now, this is a valuable lesson for everybody. Take a look at the volume, the average volume on this. This stock does average volume, probably 120,000 shares a day, maybe. That's thin. You've got to be careful with it. But it does tell us something. The trend for transportation stocks is improving. You could look at IYT and see what their holdings are. There we go. Transportation. Tells us the economy's okay. We take a look right here. MDY midcap's a little choppy. Look at this. Goes up, gaps down, goes up, gaps down, gaps up. That tells us there's a lot of indecision. So you have to be careful with that. But what else does it tell us? The midcap stocks are doing better. They're trending up. That's nice to know. Midcap, the rally spreading out. Oil services, not a lot of power there, folks. Be cautious. You can see it on the weekly, and you can see it on the daily. Go to the next one. Pharmaceuticals, drugs. Picking up a little bit. That's nice to see, isn't it? Be involved with what? Some pharmaceutical stocks. There you go. Continue onwards. QLD started to lift up here, backed off a bit, but the trend is up. What is QLD? It's the NASDAQ 100. Do we own some NASDAQ 100 stocks? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. It's told us to for a while. And there we go. Now, here's one slight negative for you. It ran up and then it gapped down. And then it gapped up. Okay? There's some high emotion in that, so be careful with that with the bigger NASDAQ 100 stocks. Here we go. QQQ, same situation, the non-leveraged one. Retailing, slowly grinding up. That's nice to see. What has it been telling us for a while? Hey, you might want to look into some retailing stocks. Isn't that neat? Just look at the weekly and say, well, it's kind of trending up here. I guess I should look into some retailing stocks. That's it. Don't have to overthink it. Now, it is a little bit extended at this point on the weekly and the daily, so be a little cautious with chasing. Never chase price. Silvers, there's nothing great here, folks. Look at the weekly and it's sloppy. Leave it alone for now. Continue onwards. By the way, when I do that, I'm not trying to be cute and funny like, oh, look at that. We don't overthink it. We don't have to. Steel's just chopping around here, okay? I mean, it goes up. Look at that. Oh, it goes up. It gaps down. This is choppy. Choppy charts can chop you up. And I'm not saying that to be funny. It's the facts. Continue onward. SMH, steadily grinding up. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Have we been involved in some semiconductor stocks? Yeah. And it's told us to. There you go. What do you do with it now? Let's go back to this. Big gap up here. Be careful chasing gap ups. All right? So we'll have to watch this and see what happens. But it's trending up, and it has been trending up, saying, hey, you could look into some semiconductor stocks. I will continue onwards here. S&P 500 spiders steadily trending up. That's nice to see. SSO, the leveraged one, steadily trending up. That's nice to see. Solar stocks, junk. There's nothing good there at this point in time. They'll turn eventually, but right now the trend is down. Stay away. That really will help you. I don't argue with price. Small caps, it's acting a little bit better, but kind of sloppy here. USO, not a lot of power in USO, especially on the weekly. Be careful with energy. Consumer discretionary is picking up a little bit. Look at the daily and look at the weekly. As you can see. Consumer discretionary. You can punch up USO and find out what their top 10 holdings are. Okay, now the one risk here is it's choppy. Oh, it's going up, it gaps down. Oh, it's going up, it gaps down. Okay, oh, it gaps up. It's choppy, so be careful with that group. That's what it's telling you. Let's continue onwards. Aerospace and defense forming a big cup with a handle. You can see it on the daily, and you can see it on the weekly. Let's continue onwards. Biotechnology. picking up a little bit. Another biotechnology ETF. Look at that. That's good to know. What does that say? Maybe looking at some biotechnology stocks. There you go. Continue onwards. Home builders improving a little bit. That's good to see. XLB. What is it? Materials. Looks decent on the daily. Looks pretty good on the weekly here, folks. Look at that. Now, let me think here. Home builders. How do you build a house? Oh, that's right. You need materials. See, this is what we do at Mission Winners. Just connect in the dots. And it works. It really helps us. Continue onwards. Communications is hanging in, not a bad spot. Energy, it's picking up a little bit. As you can see, here's the daily, but look at the weekly. Quite a bit of overhead supply. So you be careful with energy. Financials, it's nice to see financials acting good. You like that in the market. That's good to see. I'm not saying buy it, but it does tell us money is buying financial stocks. And there's a pretty high correlation, I have to tell you this, between financial stocks and what the market's doing, okay? And you can see, what's the market done recently? Well, it's been acting pretty good, Pat. Look at the weekly chart on financials. There you go. That's a great lesson, folks. XLF. XLI, industrials picking up. That's nice to see, so the rallies spread into that area. XLK, technology, trending up nicely on the weekly. Look at that. Got a little sloppy here on the daily, okay, but decent on the weekly. That's good to see. Technology. Are we heavy in technology? Yes, we are. Consumer staples. That's trending up a little bit here on the daily. But there's some overhead supply coming up here, so be careful with that. And it made a pretty big move just to get up here. So watch consumer staples. Continue onwards. Healthcare. Look at this. You know what's a chunk of this? I do believe Eli Lilly might be. There you go. And it's working. I'm not saying buy it, but what is it telling you? On the weekly and the daily, hey, you might want to look at some healthcare stocks. And you could punch up the ticker symbols XLV. You could punch up XLV, okay, and look and see what are their holdings. What are their top 10 holdings? And maybe there's something in there. Maybe there was something earlier. And that's what you do. Just connect in the dots, and it's not that hard. XLY, consumer discretionary. What does this tell us? I'm not saying buy it, but it's saying the consumer's buying. Consumer stocks are going up. That's good to know. XME, metals and mining. What does this one say? I'd be cautious with metals and mining, folks. There you go. It's below the 50-day. There's no power in this. Do a compare and contrast. Oh, this is moving up, right? Well, this is just going sideways below the 50. There's no power there. Leave it alone. Oil and gas, kind of picking up, but a little sloppy. Retailing, talked about retailing with another ETF, right? And this one's going up too, the consumer. There we go. And by the way, this gapped up here on Friday on a pickup in volume, but volume still wasn't that heavy, okay? But it does tell us again, they're buying retailing stocks. Money's moving into retailing stocks. It's a little bit extended up here, so be careful with it, okay? Don't chase price. Software, not a lot of power in software. IBD 50, it's going okay. A little sloppy in here though. And the MAXLIST. So Apple chopping around, there's nothing good here. Here's a really simple lesson for everybody. You take a look at the daily chart. You're not going to see this setup in any chart book, folks. I'm just telling you. It's not. Just leave it alone. I used to teach this at the IBD meetups also. Just look at it. There's nothing there. It could turn. Okay, I'm not saying it's over, but right now there's no setup. So let's keep going. By eliminating ones that we're not interested in now, it improves our focus on what remains. Huge part of the assets that we have, folks, is financial. You know what's an even bigger part of our assets? Mental. What's going on between our ears? And at Mission Winners, we try to show you how to do it and what to look for. We also make a key list every night for the VIPs. We do the work. We post a chart with commentary saying, if so-and-so breaks out, well, you'll see in a minute. We'll get to it. Apple, there's nothing there. Amazon's owned from lower, okay? And it's just trending nicely on the weekly. And look at the trend on the 21-day. If you look closely, folks, this and then the 50-day, found support on the 50-day, lifts up over the 21-day. This stock has not closed below the 21-day for this entire move. And what have we been doing since way back in here? We're just riding it. We're just riding. Have we sold some into strength? Yes, we're in great shape. But this is the 21-day exponential moving average. That's power, folks. And what are we doing? We're just letting it work, okay? Now maybe it's going to form a base up here and take off again. We'll have to see. But if it does, it's going to need volume. Here's another great lesson for all of you. You can say, well, it rallied up, then it fell a little bit here on some volume. But gosh, the last 3 days it's been going up on steadily increasing volume. They're buying it there, team. That's great to see. And this is for everybody. Again, I'm stressing, I'm not saying buy it up here, but if you own it from lower, by the way, I'll adjust that now. If this could base a day or two longer and take out these tops, that could be a new buy or an add-on, but it is a little extended. How do you control risk? You buy less shares. Good investing is not one size fits all, okay? Remember that. We go bigger and larger on clean and simple base setups that aren't extended, and we go smaller on ones that are not as strong a setup. That'll really help you. So there's Amazon. Doesn't look too bad, okay? Let's continue onwards. Alibaba's just chopping around here, folks. I mean, do a compare and contrast. Here's Amazon Weekly. Oh, it looks pretty darn good to me. Here's the daily. It looks pretty darn good to me. Look at Baba. It's choppy. There's nothing there at this point in time. Leave it alone. It's below the moving averages that are falling. Just leave it alone. Look, oh, it lifts up. Oh, this is it. It's going. And then they knock the tar out of it the next day on even heavier volume. Just leave it alone. Leave it alone for right now. BIDU, same situation. Nothing great. You're not going to see this setup in many books saying this is what you look for to buy. Okay? I'll just tell you that. It's not. Continue onwards. Here we go. Google. Google had been good to us earlier. Now it's just kind of chopping around here. Okay? You can see it on the weekly. You can see it on the daily. Big gap down. Flipping around here. Here's the one potential plus. It has support on the rising 50-day moving average line. Maybe it will lift off and take off these tops with volume. Now, what's it going to need? I'm going to give you the constraints. It's going to need good price action. It's going to need good volume action. It's going to need good market action. Okay? I'm just telling you, that's the way we do it. And it works. It makes us money and keeps us safe. Let's continue onwards. Here we go. Here's Goldman Sachs. I made videos for the VIPs on this. And again, I used to teach this at the IBD meetups, things to look for in the charts. Oh, look, oh, it's going up. It's going up. Oh, gosh, it dropped. Darn it. I'm glad I didn't buy. Oh, look, it's breaking out. Oh, it's breaking out. Oh, gosh, it reversed down. Man, I'm glad I didn't buy it. Oh, this is it. It's going this time. It's going. Oh, gosh, it gapped down the next day on heavier volume than it went up on. We didn't buy it. What does that tell us? These are called tail bars. They're just sticking out there. And there's another one here. Runs up and closes near the lows. What does it tell us? There's a seller up there. Sellers, there are sellers. And that's not some kind of a conspiracy theory. It just is reality. Every time it runs up, they knock it down. Eventually, the sellers will dissipate. When? I don't know. But eventually they will. How will we know? Price push with volume. It needs to take out these tops here, and it needs to do it with volume on Goldman Sachs. And again, it's pretty loose on the daily, right? Tail bars. And it's pretty loose on the weekly. So be cautious with that. So how do you control risk? And again, these are the lessons that we teach with the VIPs. This is what I taught at the IBD meetups. Good investing is not one size fits all. All right? You can go bigger, okay, on clean and simple base breakouts and go less on setups that aren't as reliable. And that'll help you. Let's continue onwards. Intel. What do you see? Well, it looks pretty dang sloppy on the weekly and it looks pretty sloppy on the daily. Leave it alone. Here's another very good investing maxim. Simplicity is a good thing. I'll just say this. The air is better above a rising 50-day moving average line. That's it. The green line's the 50-day. There's not a lot of power there. Be cautious. All right? MasterCard. This started to lift off here. It's a MAXLIST stock, okay? And it's been trending. Fell fairly hard here on earnings. I do believe it was earnings. I'm not 100% sure on that. But you can see it's steadily trending. I'm not saying buy it up here, okay? And there's another reason why. It fell on really heavy volume, and it's rallying up on steadily decreasing volume. Be cautious with that. Continue onward. Meta. Look at the weekly here. Base breakout, base breakout, base breakout. And this one right here is this right here on the daily. And those were buys. Those were buys. And this is what's called a trend. And trends pay more. Let me refresh this. Trends pay more than all the decisions you'll make. And yes, we've sold some into strength, and we just ride trends. When's it going to stop? I don't know. But trends pay. Let the computer do your work. Let the stock do your work. That will really help you. Okay, it's trending. Now, all that being said, it would be really aggressive to buy it up here. Okay, but it is a MAXLIST stock and it's working for us. Let's do another MAXLIST stock. Microsoft, okay, and entries down here, ran entry here, which corresponds to this. It had a nice trend. Now it's basing here, all right? See, I already have an alert set. I'd love this to base for a couple more days. That could be a potential buy. Not yet though, okay? And here's another very important lesson for everybody. And this is what we teach in Mission Winners. This thing a lot of people don't know. Look where it opened. Opened right at the highs for the day and then they sold it off. It's met with selling, okay? Be careful with that. Don't chase price. Right up here, oh, it closed at the highs for the day, okay? Volume was just okay, not really heavy, and they take it right back down. Be careful. These are just things that you look at. And if you've noticed, it's not rocket science, all right? It's simple. So Meta, got to watch this. Also, I'll share this. Well, we'll continue on here, but I'll share this. You're seeing it. There's things that are steadily trending, but never argue with price. And what will really help you? Some sells into strength can really help you, all right? Guaranteed profits and lessen stress, which leads to clearer thinking. Let's continue onwards. Microsoft, entry down here. There's an entry down here. And that was a whale of a move here, okay? Now it's gotten a little sloppier, okay? Here's the weekly. It has support on the 10-week. We'll watch this. I already have an alert set. I'd love this to go to go sideways a couple of days and then take off. There you go on Microsoft. Netflix. It's had an entry down here and an entry here, and that was just sweet potato pie. And it's basing right now. Here's the daily. 2 bars about the same. This is a daily or weekly. This is a weekly inside bar. I already have an alert set. I'd love for this to go sideways a couple of days and then take off again. There you go. Till then, just be a little cautious with it. NVIDIA, I'm pointing this one out. Do you see this base here? I made videos on this, by the way. So it's not like, oh, it's after the fact. No, I told people about it. We made videos on this. Look at that base on the weekly. Look at the volume that came into it right here. I said this again at the IBD meetups forever. People talk with their mouths and vote with their pocketbooks. They were voting on that bar. And I'm going to do something to help you. I'm going to train your eyes on this. Oh, it's just going sideways, just kind of meandering. Okay, oh, look at that. It rallied up to that line and backed off out. I'm going to pick up in volume. Okay, yeah, it's down there. Okay. Oh, it's picking up again. Yeah, maybe it's going to take out that line. Okay, it ran up there and tailed off. Didn't take out the highs of this bar. Nothing really great there, and there was no volume on it. Okay, well, it's just a quiet inside bar here, right at that resistance point. Oh, I'm glad we didn't buy it. Look, it's down again, closed in the top third of its range. Still basing, there's nothing to do with it. Boom. There it is on the weekly. Look at the volume on that bar. Folks, I will tell you, and again, I teach this every day. We train our eyes on what to look for. This is a MAXLIST stock with a clean and simple base, and it was bought pushing through here. And here's the daily. That's the daily chart. And look at the trend. I'll refresh both. There you go. And did we sell some? Yeah, we sold some on the way up. We sold more when we knew earnings were coming. You go, yeah, but look what it did. It could have easily just gapped down 100 points, but it didn't. But did we sell some into strength? Yes, and that really helped us. And so right here, let me refresh both of these. There we go. And that's where we're at. Refresh that. There we go. And right here's a tail bar. I even put it on the charts for the VIPs. Earnings coming! So people know. Okay, now they're out, so we can do this. Take them off. There you go. Now we'll watch it and see what happens. We're in good shape. Would I buy it up here? I'd be really careful buying up here. You're chasing price. Those are good lessons. Again, that's what we teach. Tesla, it has a higher low setup, but it's still, I have to tell you, the last time I checked, I think it still has a D or D plus accumulation distribution. There's just not a lot of buying in here yet. So we'll have to wait and see, okay? And a ton of overhead supply here. So we've got to watch that and see what happens on Tesla. And yes, it's a MAXLIST stock. Visa, kind of like MasterCard, started to lift up, but there was no volume. Then it fell in heavy volume, and it's starting to pick up again, just like MasterCard, okay? Up here, be an aggressive buy up there. You're chasing price. Take it to the 30-minute and see how it looks. Oh, man, I'm glad I didn't buy it. Look at this selling into the close. Yes, so what does that tell us? Just watch it and see how it plays out to look for an entry. But please, I'm asking you, and Mission Winners, we're big on this, don't chase price. That will really save your bacon.
Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like. Maybe hit that subscribe button. We come up with new content nearly every day. Also, check out the videos on the right. YouTube recommends the one on the top, and the bottom one is something we thought you might enjoy. See you next time.